Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategy, stories, insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon Haddad. How are you?
Dude, we are here. This is number 60,
Episode
67.
6-7.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, no.
Sorry, Dex.
Oh, no. Sorry. 100% sorry. Yeah, we are at number 6-7 over here. So definitely over a year deep into these. And I think I was talking to you about it this morning, but just seeing people getting excited now. We answer some of the questions and it's been creating traction and engagement. So that's been a lot of fun to see. So excited for today. We got some good questions on the horizon.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got a lot going on today. We have the Broker Buzz where we're going to dive into said questions. Top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group. Discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Go into a sales pitch training and a story with John after. But first, a fortune cookie. And I checked, I grabbed a broken one that has one in it this week, so we don't get another dud. We've gotten way too many duds out of that one order.
We really have
for
one box. It's pretty bad.
We should ask for a refund. I don't know if that's bad luck.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Oh, okay. This could be really relevant. A deep and meaningful conversation with your close friend will lead to a breakthrough.
I believe that. I feel like that's happened so many times in my life at this point, especially people that like know me very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who it'll be this time is more so what that one makes me think about, because I've had a lot of those breakthroughs with some really high level people over the years. So I have a feeling. I don't want to share the feeling just yet.
Sure, that's fair.
I do have something potentially pretty good about this. We'll see. I'm not ready, but I do know that that's usually when things do happen, is when you share those ideas with your friends.
Yeah, and I think it's when close friends become closer, if that makes sense. When you go through those meaningful conversations and have those breakthroughs, because it's almost like a little mini test for your friendship, in that, like, can I come to you with this conversation and we handle it as adults and friends and know it's with best intentions opposed to an attack kind of a thing. And
you have to build that too. That
yeah, exactly. Time. So that's what I'm saying with a close friend. Like, you couldn't do this with just an acquaintance friend. If that makes sense.
No, I do. It does.
I like that one. All right, let's dive into the broker buzz with our first question of the week. Can a mortgage debt, second home, be excluded from the DTI if there is proof, bank statements, and canceled checks that someone else is making those payments? I'm saying no. People are fighting me. I'm not crazy, right? Client's child lives there and has been making payments for 3+ years.
So unless this rule has changed, the rule is that if that person was on the original note, so they have to be on the actual note itself. If they're not on the note, then no, there isn't any way. There used to be back in the day, but they changed the guideline, putting you having to be on the physical note itself of the original loan. So if they did the original loan and had that person on the note, yes, you could exclude. You need 12 months of on-time payments. And plus, I don't think you can actually miss a payment at all at any point in time. But it is doable if they were on the note. That's the question I would ask. If they're not on the note at all, tough in the water, going to be very difficult for you to find somebody willing to lend on that from a guideline perspective.
Got it. Makes sense. And our second question. I'm getting an accept/eligible on Freddie AUS with a 67% back end ratio when running AUS in Arrive. Fanny says approve/ineligible. I thought conventional was around 50% or less. Is it foolish to tell borrowers they can proceed with this kind of ratio? Hesitant about giving borrowers false hope they can offer without home sale contingency.
So the home sale contingency tells me, I believe, what happened inside of Arrive. So not just Arrive, a lot of systems happen like this. You said home contingency. Freddie Mac sometimes won't read that home. And what it'll do is it'll exclude it, but still show it on the back end ratio. So if you go into the findings, it may have excluded it inside of the findings and remove that house from being included. even though they're still both payments. So that's how you potentially got AE findings on the note. But you are correct. Conventional does have a limit. Something is not being read correctly, or the other side of it is maybe by accident. And it's product based, but you could be running a VA potentially. I doubt that's the case because you use the word conventional in there. But if there is a contingency, go into there, look at the findings themselves. My gut, it's happened so often, is telling me that it is excluding the home contingency. So it's excluding the potential inside of the findings itself, but the actual interface is showing you the 67% back end. So it's causing confusion because it shouldn't go approved at all at that point. That's what I would double check. That is my guess on this one. You are correct. Do not give them false hope. If it really is 67% back end and none of what I'm saying is popping up, you have a real issue on your hands. If it's conventional, do not write that loan. And I know that's why you're checking. We appreciate you for checking. But if it is conventional 67, don't touch it.
All right. And our third question. My realtor brought this wording to my attention. I know builders do this, but do they tie it to the lender in writing? Sellers may request buyers to cross qualify with preferred lender X with X loan center prior to acceptance. If buyer chooses to use seller's preferred lender, a $1,500 lender credit will be applied towards the buyer's closing costs.
So from what I've been taught, and I'm licensed in many states, California being one of them. I got this the most in California by a long shot with the cross qualification. The seller is allowed to request. So the builder is also the seller, right? Because the builder owns, so therefore they are selling and are also the seller. So they are able to do that. And that's the potential loophole that I've been told is the loophole, is that they are the seller. So in this case, it sounds like they also said the seller is requesting a cross qualification. The seller is allowed to do that. One of the areas is where's the $1,500 coming from, the credit? Because is that a credit coming from the agent's commission? Is it actually coming from the potential loan officer and the lending company? Because there is something there, because it would have to come from the lender. That would be a $1,500 credit from said lender for using that. From the seller, not the lender. It would be a $1,500 credit from said seller that would go towards the buyer and their cost. So look into the verbiage, but sellers are allowed to make that request. They're not forcing you. They're simply saying, here's an opportunity, and if you choose them, we'd like to offer you $1,500 more dollars. So because they're not forcing you and they're the seller are the two loopholes there.
Gotcha. And our final question for the week, monthly IRA distribution. Just set up, received first distribution. Charles Schwab will not write letter stating monthly distribution, and UWM wants proof. I show funds came out of IRA. I show funds hit personal bank account. What else can I provide if Schwab won't write a letter?
Okay, so the good news is I'm actually the one that answered this one inside of our Facebook group.
I saw that. I was just really curious about it.
So Tommy, I sent you a link that you can drop on the video or give them the pop-up. So Charles Schwab, they're obviously a massive organization. In the event that for some reason they won't provide you a letter, there's always a form with a company like that. I actually gave the link directly to the LO on that one, and they replied, "We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really, we're just jumping in and wanted to get help and find help. That's what we're here for." But we had a link for this one to Charles Schwab. It's an IRA distribution form. The client has to sign the form, and a representative from Schwab has to sign the form. It's worked for me. I can't think of a time it hasn't worked for me. I don't want to give you percentages, but I truly cannot remember when that form was not validated by the underwriter. So that's what I would do. Look it up. They have to give you something. They have to. They can't give you nothing at all. So in this case, we were able to solve it by that link. Tommy, I gave you the link.
Yep.
But for any large institution, Fidelity, Schwab, whatever the case might be, always look up the forms first. IRA distribution form or pension distribute, whatever the case is that you're trying to find. Look it up first online. You'll generally be able to find it.
Cool. And if you're looking for that link, it will be in the video description. If you want your question answered here on the Broker Power Up podcast, be sure to be an AIME member in the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and use hashtag Broker Power Up to get your question answered here on the podcast. If you are not an AIME member, feel free to scan the QR code and learn what it's all about in this upcoming ad. And we'll be right back with some sales pitch training and a story.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com/membership. Your community is waiting.
And I'm waiting to become a better salesperson. John, what do you got?
So I got a story for y'all today about my family. And I've shared this story now a couple times and just shared it on stage. But this story is about my great grandmother, Afifi. I never met this woman at all. She was my grandmother's mom. So my grandmother who just passed away in January, this is her mother. Her name was Afifi. So my great grandmother had to start selling oil back in Palestine, olive oil on the cobblestone, after some tragedy had occurred in my family. So my great grandfather was murdered back home. He was the protector of the village, and this is very common that occurs in this area in Palestine and Israel in general. There's just been a lot of war and issues for thousands and thousands of years. So this is something that was very common and still continues to be common to this day. So he was the protector of the village. And one day his horse came back without him on there, and they went out and they found him and he was killed. And when he died, my great grandmother Afifi was left with nothing. So back home during that time, women are not allowed to remarry. And on top of that, women didn't get any of the inheritance. So all the money that my great grandfather had was completely taken away from my great grandmother and given to his side of the family, and they gave her nothing, along with all of her kids, one of those kids being my grandma. And you see, one of the things about not having a safety net is you don't get to say, let me work on me and let me go figure it out. She wasn't allowed to remarry, so she couldn't rebuild that way either. So what did she do instead? She said, you know what? Let me figure out what to do. And she walked the cobblestone streets of Palestine with an olive oil bucket over her head and walked down the streets and sold olive oil, because my family has been in the olive oil industry for a very long time, for hundreds and hundreds of years. And that's all she knew how to do. Now, some of you might be listening to this story and go, man, that's so tragic. And there is tragedy in there, but I want you to know that this woman is tough as nails. And on the screen, what you're seeing now is a picture of my great grandmother. And in this picture, she is sitting there with her headband on, and she's got her cigarette in her hand. This woman was tough as nails, all the stories that I've heard about her. And it's not surprising to me that my grandmother and my mother are both tough as nails. See, my great grandmother and my family live by this motto. This happened, now what? This happened. Now, what do we do next? There is no dwelling. There is no, oh, we'll figure it out. There's none of that in my family, and there hasn't been for so long. My grandmother had to jump right on top of it. My great-grandmother had to jump right on top of it and figure it out. And I think about the industry that we're in, and I think about doing sales. And I think about that story and all of the tragedy, but what I see is the beauty. What I see is the urgency. What I see is the will to get it done no matter what happens. Now, fortunately for us, we're in the game that does not include life or death. Thank God. But a lot of salespeople go into these calls and they are so emotional. And I know emotion very well. I'm a passionate human being. Y'all have heard me get passionate. You are hearing me get passionate right now. But I want to give you 3 steps that you can implement into your business. And I hope and pray that all of you have the opportunity to get the sheer strength that my great grandmother had. I strive for it every single day. She didn't focus on the emotion. She was hurt, but she focused on the response. She focused on what's next. So here are 3 things you can do, really easy plays that you can implement to stop selling from emotion, stop being emotional, and sell from the actual response. Number 1, what actually happened in this situation? The real version. What do I mean by that? Ready, Tommy? How often are we over dramatic with the versions that we tell ourselves? Oh, then you won't believe what happened. I got cut off last second. And if I didn't make the decision that I made, oh, who knows if we would be here? Who knows, Tommy, if we would be? No. Hey, you know what? Yeah, it was a close call, but I was paying attention, had both hands on the wheel, didn't have the phone in my hand. So I was able to move pretty quickly, and it's not that big of a deal. So let's stop over embellishing. And by the way, I'm a culprit of this. We all want to sound better than what we're actually doing. We all want to feel important. But what actually happened? That's the first thing. Write it down. Be truthful. You lose a deal. Okay, what happened? What made you lose the deal? You know what doesn't work? The client's an idiot. I've heard that 1,000 times. It drives me crazy.
There's
No, they're not.
You can't do anything. There's no action that you can take and then get better at.
Nothing. And what doesn't help, Tommy, to your point, is you turning around and saying it's the client's fault. It is your fault. It is your fault. So stop over embellishing things. And I'll keep working on it too. Number 2, what is still in my control in this current situation? What is still in my control? Do I have a chance to follow up? Do I have a chance to ask better questions? Did I miss an opportunity that I can get back in front of with this consumer? You have the chance to redesign and rebuild this out as long as you still have a couple things in your control. Do I get a chance at a second conversation? If that answer is yes, stop dwelling on anything bad that happened. Let it go. Let it go if you have a chance. Get through the pain, but then let it go. Then the third piece of it is, what is the next move? Not the perfect move, but what's the next move? So this could be an open house that you plan. This could be, I planned open houses, John. I did open houses for 14 straight weeks. Nothing's come out of here from this. So how do I approach that situation? Number 1, what happened? We write it down. All right, I went to open houses for 14 straight weeks. Here are the houses that I hit. Here was my game plan. Didn't get the results that I was looking for. Number 2, what is still in my control? I can still continue to go to open houses. I can still build out a better process for open houses. I can try and find a way to get more value during these open houses. I can try and interact with more agents during these open houses. I can post more on social media about these open houses. You get my point. What is still in my control? Number 3, what is my next move? My next move at these open houses is to turn it into something that I love, because right now I'm not enjoying this process after doing this for 14 straight weeks and haven't been able to find a win. My definition of a win is being able to get one realtor contact information. And this is how you remove the emotion from sales. I'm not saying it's easy, my friends, but what I am saying is it's possible, it's doable, and that's a 3-step process, regardless of what you're doing in life. Share the story about my great-grandmother, because it doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be work, it can be life, it could be the most complicated task to the most simple task. Those 3 things allow you to put yourself in the best position possible to win at anything, regardless of the tragedy or your circumstances. What happened? Be real about it. What is still in my control? And then what is the next move? Those are the 3 things that you can do. And I pray that all of you continue to dig deep every single morning and find the energy and the strength and the passion it takes to get out of bed and to accomplish something special. Because that is what my great grandmother did. She set an incredible tone for so many of us. Got to watch my grandmother live that tone till she passed away. Now I get to watch my mother live that tone. And now, God willing, I get to live that tone and I get to pass it on to my kids. So continue to sell, continue to have fun. That is what I got for you today, my friends. Thank you.
I like that a lot. It's almost one of those things where people can get so into their work and so zoomed in and so micromanaging that if you just zoom out, the problem that you're really frustrated about and isn't perfect, you're the only person, not even at your company, but you're the only person that will ever notice.
100%, dude. 100%.
It's one of those things where like, oh, I'm having an open house and the charcuterie board, it doesn't have grapes. It's what kind of a charcuterie board is this? Doesn't have grapes. That's why I didn't get a realtor's contact info. That's why it's just
That's
it's
the
one of those, no one, yeah, no one notices.
Exactly it.
Cool. Well, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it helps. I had this realization. I don't want to go into a tangent, but I had this realization when watching Toy Story 5 this past weekend, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there's an instant, and if you see it, you'll know what I mean, where it zooms out and sees the whole neighborhood, and you instantly know what the problem is. So it's one of those things where just take a second, take a deep breath, look at it from an overarching your day, your week, your month, opposed to your minute. And I think you will then know what to do next. So
thank you, sir.
On that note, thank you, dear listener, for tuning into this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor. Hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.